What's up, Spartans? Batman from TST Gaming here to keep you updated with everything Halo. And today we're telling you everything we know about the Halo TV series. But before we get started, please subscribe for more Halo content. The television series was first announced in 2013 as a series for Showtime with Steven Spielberg attached as a producer. After being in development hell for a number of years, it is now officially going to be released on March 24th on Paramount+. The story itself will take place in a silver timeline that isn't tied directly to the established canon of the franchise, but will instead be inspired by it. The show is currently in post-production, and the main Spartan team will be known as Silver Team. Originally, Showtime ordered 10 episodes for a first season, although I've heard reports that it got knocked down to 9. I know there's for sure at least 6 episodes. In this series, we're going to see many characters, both familiar and new, to the franchise. And again, because it's set in a different timeline, it gives the writers the freedom to really explore things that otherwise may have written themselves into a corner if they had adhered to the original timeline. Now, they are still going to continue with the other media, such as the novels and the games, to continue inside of the original canon. This is just going to be its own separate thing that they can really explore and do what they want to do with it, which I think is going to be a very interesting thing to see. And forgive me if I do mispronounce some of these names, but the main cast includes Pablo Schreiber as John 117, Yaren Ha as Quan Ha, Natasha McElhone as Catherine Halsey, Bukim Woodbine as Soren 066, Shabana Azmi as Margaret Parangoski, Bentlet Kalu as Vanek 134, Natasha Kolzak as Riz 028, and Kate Kennedy as Kai 125. We're going to be seeing other characters such as Miranda Keyes, who's actually going to be a doctor in this versus the original timeline where she is a commander in the UNSC. For fans who aren't aware, Commander Miranda Keyes is actually the daughter of Jacob Keyes and Dr. Halsey. It's something that's explored further in the deeper canon, such as the novels. So it will be interesting to see if they keep that the same or if they're going to change that. But both Captain Jacob Keyes and Miranda Keyes will be in the show, as well as Cortana to be played by Jen Taylor, the original voice actress, who has played her throughout the entire series. Now, some people have already complained about the way that certain things are different in this versus the original canon, such as Master Chief not being voiced by Steve Downes, who has voiced him throughout the last 2 decades. So he looks like Master Chief, but he doesn't sound like Master Chief. And then the other complaint is that Cortana sounds like Cortana, but doesn't look like Cortana. So it's kind of the polar opposite on that. My thoughts are to just be patient and see how it turns out. Now, it does state that we will be visiting some places new and old. Some of these places are going to be Reach, as well as High Charity, and even the Rubble, which is introduced in the book Cold Protocol. The Rubble is basically a bunch of asteroids that are kind of tied together that really allows for it to be a mini colony of sorts spread throughout the different asteroids. Now, from what it looks like, Soren 066, he was a Spartan in the novels, and basically what happened with him is that he was so deformed that he couldn't fit inside of the armor, I believe. So it's interesting to see that it sounds like he's not going to be one of the Spartans, but again, someone who wiped out during augmentation. Now, it does say that Soren will have a pirate lair at the Rubble. And if you want to know more about him, you can actually read the short story Pariah in Halo Evolutions. Even though it takes place in a different timeline, they may have been inspired from that particular story. And once again, the Spartans of Silver Team include Riz 028, Kai 125, and Vanek 134. One thing that I think is going to be cool about having new Spartans is it's not going to be someone like we're familiar with even from the Halo 5 game or the novels like Linda, Fred, and Kelly, which is John's usual partners. This is all new Spartans. So if they kill off, say, Vanek or Riz, you're not going to be like, oh man, that's not how it is in the original timeline. And that's one of the other things that is kind of a double-edged sword whenever you're dealing with multiple timelines like that is the changes. time will tell how this will go. For example, in the original timeline, Master Chief and Cortana finding Halo was somewhat of an accident, whereas in this it's confirmed it's going to be somewhat more deliberate, especially with the last line that Master Chief says, which is, "Find the Halo, win the war." Now, whether or not we're going to be exploring Halo in the first season, or if that's what they're working towards to be a season 2, is still unclear. I think it'd be really cool if season 1 is all about kind of finding the Halo, establishing the characters, because this is meant to be a entry point for new fans, or fans who are just fans of the game, who maybe haven't read the Fall of Reach novel, which really creates this huge backspan of the start of the war and how the Spartans were made and everything to that nature. So it'll be very interesting to see season 1 versus season 2, how that might go. I do think so far the cast looks great. I specifically love who they got for Halsey. She just has kind of a Halsey vibe to her. Originally, she was supposed to also play Cortana, but I think due to COVID, she couldn't, and so they tapped Jen Taylor in to play as Cortana, which I think will be better anyways, because it'll kind of bridge that gap between Pablo Schreiber voicing Master Chief rather than Steve Downes. We'll still have our Cortana. And I think that's going to make a bigger difference to us probably anyways. Now, in the trailer, we do see a shot specifically that looks like it's almost taken from first-person view when Master Chief is coming up against the elites. It'll be very interesting to see if they show us like the HUD of Master Chief and make that a little bit more canon and things of that nature. But that's all we have at this moment. With this show being out in less than 60 days, it's going to be very interesting to see how this will ramp up very quickly. But when it does come out on March 24th, you will be able to watch it on Paramount Plus. Let us know down in the comments below what your thoughts were on the first trailer for the series that debuted online during the 2022 AFC Championship game. And that's all we have for today. If you did enjoy this video, please like and subscribe. Thank you for watching TST Gaming, and until next time, just play.